Okay, this is Don Whiteley telling what happened when he got off the excursion boat in Juneau, Alaska on July the 28th of 2025.
We were on a whale watching catamaran that had an upper and lower deck. We stayed on the lower deck, mostly in the back of the ship where the cover was not on us so we could see better, right? And on the way back to the wharf that we got in on, they told us we would be the third boat away from the wharf. And they did park three boats parallel with each other at the wharf. We were boat number three. They had people on each of the three boats to help us go from one boat to the next boat, then to the third boat, and then to the wharf. The way I remember it is my wife was in front of me. Whether or not she had the walker and held it over for them, or whether I had the walker and held it over for them, I don't remember. I think she said the walker was in front of her. All I remember is holding onto her arm and her back to make sure she got from the first boat to the second boat. She evidently was able to do that, but in keeping my hands on her and guiding her over to the boat, I was not watching my feet. And from what I recall, my left foot first slipped between the boat that we were on for whale watching, and my shin scraped the side of the boat that we were going onto along with my right foot at the same time. I remember my butt hitting the bottom of the boat. I tried to put my hands down to keep from going down any further, but I could not push myself up. Instead, I was starting to slip down between the two boats now. My right foot was actually in the water by the time the people behind me had a good enough hold on me, and the people in front of me told me to let go with my arms and they will pull me up. So between the people in the next boat and the people behind me, whether it was another passenger or passengers or the crew, was able to pull me up from the back, and the people on the next boat pulled me up from the front and get me back up out of the water where my right foot had entered and onto the next ship. Now, one thing that was in my favor is that I had on very constricting white long johns, which acted not only as a bandage but kept my cut or laceration or abrasion or whatever it worked out to be from becoming worse. I also had on a very thick pair of black jeans that also helped. If it weren't for the black jeans and the long underwear, it probably could have been a lot worse. I didn't check out my leg until I got back to our boat, when I was able to look at my leg and found out that my white long johns were all bloodied, and I was able to get them off to look at the wound. It had already been scabbing over, so I didn't want to bother anything. I did try to wash it to keep it clean. I didn't want to do any scrubbing because it hurt to even put water on it. I didn't start noticing a lot of pain. That was on the 28th. I did not start noticing a lot of pain until about the 30th or 31st. We were flying home on the 31st. But by the time I got home, I could not get up out of the chair and put pressure on my legs, because my legs were hurting so bad I could not stand up from a seated position after I was sitting down. So I went to Roper St. Francis Urgent Care. They took some x-rays of my legs to make sure that I didn't have a partial fracture or a bone that was chipped off in the process. And luckily I did not, but I saw a lot of swelling, and the swelling had started working down my leg, as you see from all the pictures. The swelling and the bruising started going down, 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 down until you see where it is on these last of the pictures, already at my ankles. They gave me some antibiotic cream in a tube to apply every day, which seemed to help, but I did not bother the scabs. I let them air out on their own. I did see my regular doctor the next Monday. And he said everything looked like it was healing fine, that I probably had a bad bone bruise. He also had the records from St. Francis Roper Urgent Care Center, but the swelling got so bad that my legs had puffed out, and my socks were constricting my legs very badly because my legs were so tight. There was no give and take, and the swelling had gotten so bad in my legs and down to my ankles. The swelling has gone down some, so I do have definition in my legs now. I did not go to the onboard medical bay because I remember from previous cruises that people who went down to the medical bay on the ship, they were charged an exorbitant amount of money, and I cannot afford that. So I was going to wait till I got back home before I went to a doctor. I didn't feel like I had a broken bone. I could still stand, I could still walk, but it just hurt like, you know what? I can't say the word. That's
Okay.
what I remember.
And what is today?
Today is August the 14th.
Okay,
So
you want
it's
to pick
been-
up your pants real quick on the video so we can
it's
see how
been-
you
so
look
it's
now?
been- So it's been almost a half a month since this happened.
You still got,
And you see the bruising. Of course, you took pictures of the bruising has gone farther down. The bruising started farther up, and then it started working its way down on the legs.
okay, let's see the other leg.
And the bruising was on that side.
That's your
too.
left leg. That's the
Yeah,
best
but you
one.
saw the bruising on that side too. This is my right leg, and the bruising on the right leg, on the ankle. It is very tender to touch. I can't put any pressure on these wounds because the wounds are still tender to touch. But these wounds were a lot bigger than you see them now, and there was a lot more redness around both of them that you see from the initial pictures. The initial pictures my wife took were when I got back to the cruise ship that day, and she took pictures of these that first day. Do you have those pictures that you took
Yeah,
the first
I
day?
have.
Okay.
All right.
That was what I remember.
Thank you.
All right.